Hey there, my name is Ben Nathan and I'm here with the FX News Trader with your weekly fundamental analysis for the week commencing the 9th of March 2015. So as usual, before we get stuck into what's happening this week, let's have a look at the highlights of last week and how that's setting up for the sentiment surrounding various pairs for this week moving forward. So first of all, we saw a surprise rate cut from the Bank of China. And what we saw is the Aussie dollar decline slightly in sympathy with that. Now, personally, I don't really trade the China cross pairs. So generally, I just trade the Aussie dollar as and when these high impact releases come out. So nothing there that's going to affect my trading for the week. But if you guys trade any of the Chinese cross pairs, you might want to consider that because they've had a rate cut, we're going to have a fairly bearish sentiment moving into the week. So elsewhere, we did see a rate cut over in India as well. Again, not a particularly big reaction from the markets from there. Now, the interesting thing is we saw some declining commodity prices again. So there was some speculation that we might possibly see some further rate cuts over in Canada and Australia. Now, both the Bank of Canada and the Royal Bank of Australia kept rates on hold, so no further cuts. So again, not a massive reaction on that side of things. So the big thing people were looking out for, of course, was the big reveal of the QE over in the Eurogroup. Now, we're expecting that, well, we now know that's going to start this week. So the markets are really looking to digest the information. But despite the QE program, which is set to last until I believe late 2016, the ECB basically don't think they're going to be at inflation target by 2017, let alone 16. So that poses a question: are we already expecting that QE program will have to be extended to hopefully help fix the Eurozone economy? Now, elsewhere, we're also really waiting to see some kind of confirmed resolution between the situation with Greece. Now, last week, the Greece proposals, the ECB did say that they weren't really up to spec and up to the standard of what the original proposals were. So there's still no real set in stone result from the Greece and Eurogroup meetings yet. So we're still waiting to find out what happens there. So it's still up in the air. And of course, the question, will Greece exit the Eurozone? It's not necessarily answered just yet. So the highlight of last week for many traders, especially those that traded it, was the NFP. Now, we shorted the euro dollar on that one well in advance. We had a trade set up and we were looking for between 50 and 100 pips on that. So those of us who wanted to start the weekend early closed trades at 40 pips up, while many of you stuck by and waited for the 100 pip take profit. So well done to you guys. So yeah, going into this week, now the highlight for me is the fact that we've got a very weak euro and the fact that we've got a strong dollar following that positive NFP. Now, the reason why the NFP impact was so strong and the reason why it's still rippling throughout this week is because the expectation from a economic calendar point of view was to potentially see a drop in figures. Yet again, we had a fantastic NFP report that came out much higher than expectations, and therefore that's pushed forward the expectation of a rate hike. So we already know from Fed Yellen's testimony that the Fed are going to be fairly flexible when it comes to a rate hike this year. Overall, the expectation for when that rate hike will be is now brought forward to June time. But again, it's subject to change. If we continue to see this great data shining through, who knows? Maybe we'll see some action a little bit quicker than we expect. So this week, what to look out for? Well, obviously look out for the continued post-NFP gains on the dollar. QE does start this week, but also keep quite close ear to the ground in terms of anything coming out to light in terms of a situation with Greece. And also we've got a Carney speech for the pound today from the Bank of England. So again, listen out for that, because what we're finding is the last few weeks we're starting to see, slowly but surely, some more bullish or hawkish tones coming from these meetings. So listen out for that. At the moment, we're still very firmly, everybody's voting on keeping rates on hold, but there are market talks rippling through from these meetings about inflation maybe not being as slow as expected, and a rate hike, while still being quite a long way away, maybe not being quite as far away as we expect. So that's what to look out for this week. I've been Ben Nathan, I'm with FX News Trader, and that's your free weekly fundamental analysis for the week commencing 9th of March 2015. Now, feel free to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. We do post these each week. If you'd rather be kept a little bit more in the know, we can deliver these fundamental analysis videos straight to your email box as soon as they become available. So you can sign up for free on fxnewstrader.co.uk to get those alerts coming through starting from next week. Alright guys, so have a fantastic week, and I'll be there next week with your fundamental analysis.